Why would anyone think of getting behind a wheel while being impaired? I know, dumb question. Drunk driving is perceived to be a victimless crime. You should listen to me because I lost my best friend due to a drunk driver. That being said, a lot of you may have been touched by drunk driving, and if you haven't, this speech may be a realization of how impactful it is. I'm going to present to you today 3 reasons on why you shouldn't drink and drive. Drunk driving is potentially costly, potentially fatal, and it's an avoidable risk. According to the National Highway Transportation Safety Association website, in 2010, the most recent year from which cost data is available, these deaths and damages contributed to a cost of $44 billion that year. That's a lot of money. All that money could have been used for something else, like, but that was all used for drunk driving. According to Lancaster Online, your total cost after DUI could reach as high as $10,000. That's not including the money that, as I said in my last statistic, this is money that you're going to have to pay over time. But you don't have to do that if you don't get a DUI or if you don't drink and drive. Drink driving is potentially fatal. According to the same website I said before, drunk driving crashes claim more than 10,000 lives per year. Imagine if that's one of them is someone you know or someone you were close to. It's a big deal. Once you've consumed your first drink, you've lost the ability to make a sound judgment. And that was said by MADD, or Mothers Against Drunk Driving, chapter president Penny Wagner. This association is a whole bunch of women that were affected by drunk driving incidents. And she's right. Once you've had your first drink, you cannot make a sound judgment. That brings me to my last reason. Drunk driving is an avoidable risk. The only safe amount of alcohol when you're mixing drinking and driving is 0. Double zeros, no alcohol. And that was said by MADD's Tina Pascoe. Don't do it. It's avoidable. You won't have to worry about anything if you just stop. Automobiles are not ferocious. It is a man who is to be feared, as said by Robbins B. Stokel, who's also part of the same association. You don't know who got behind the wheel and who has had too much to drink. That's why it needs to be stopped, because it's a problem. That being said, if you have been drinking, do not get behind the wheel. If someone you know has been drinking, do not let them get behind the wheel. It is that simple. I know what you're thinking. It is inconvenient. You just want to drive yourself home instead of waiting for your designated driver. But you are not in your right state of mind. You're dangerous. It is not worth living with the fact that you may have killed someone, or not living because you killed yourself. Every day when you wake up, you're going to have to live with the burden of the fact that you killed someone. And it could have been prevented. Or you don't wake up because you killed yourself. Or you're thinking, it's not that big of a deal if I get caught. Except for all the money that you're going to have to pay. $10,000. I don't know your economic situation, but most people are not able to have that much money on demand for something that could have been prevented. And so you're like, I could pay that $10,000. No big deal. Jail time is a consequence. Depending on where you live, you could spend up to a year in prison. I don't know about you, but I would not want to do that. This crime is not to be taken lightly. If you do not listen to me, don't worry. Just imagine yourself drinking, having a good time, ready to go home, and you get in your car and you think, I'm fine. I'm not too far from home. I had a little bit to drink, no big deal. So you start driving. Next thing you know, you can't see the road straight, your vision's blurred, and boom, you wrapped your car around a tree, or hit someone else, or killed yourself. This is not something you want to hold on to for the rest of your life, or you won't have to, because you're dead. Some things that you can do to prevent this are drinking in moderation, having a ride home, like a designated driver or an Uber. Learn to have self-control. This is an important one. This means knowing your limits of your body and knowing that if you are your own ride home, that you should not risk it. You should not drink and drive. You need to learn to have self-discipline. You need to be able to tell yourself, I've had enough to drink and I'm going to stop. That's hard for some people to do, but you need to be able to do it if you are going to drink. Or you don't have that. So you can call an Uber or a taxi to come pick you up because you are not stable enough to drive. Or call a friend or someone you trust to pick you up. There are different ways that you can prevent this action. Don't drink and drive.